Have questions you want answered? Send them to me. AskBadBrad@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, leave comments. Forget about it. Hey, folks, welcome back to a show that you asked me to bring back. Haven't done it in quite a while. Ask Bad Brad, where I take your questions, no matter what you send in, and I answer them in only the way that I know how, straight and to the point. So let's start out like this. Bad Brad, I have followed you for years on Twitter and cannot thank you enough for your service to our country, both in uniform and out. First of all, thank you very much. What was your most enjoyable duty station during your Navy career? Tanya from Bloomington, Indiana. Oh, Bloomington. Isn't John Cougar Mellencamp live down there? You're south of me. You're more liberal down there than this horrible MAGA country that we live in, Northwest Indiana. My most fun duty station. Good question. Well, as far as job, I enjoyed Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. I was the command crew counselor there. I was stationed there from January 95 to January 96 at NSGA, Naval Security Group Activity, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. They've shut down since then. Up on JPJ Hill, which is the highest point of the island. So, why do I pick that one? Well, the weather was great. And again, it was a job. I was able to take care of people, get people schools, duty stations, all kinds of stuff. And we dealt with the 30,000 Cuban migrants that came on base at that time. So we were dealing with that too. But yeah, most fond, I'm going to go with Cuba, 1995, 1996. And I had the best commanding officer of them all that I ever had in the military. Wonderful, wonderful LDO, which means he was a Navy chief and then he went officer, he's lieutenant commander. And just a wonderful man. Brad, I found your show recently on YouTube and have binge watched many episodes with my wife. Well, thank you very much. You really do your research on your guests and let them talk off of your questions that make them feel really comfortable. Have you ever had a guest who was even more than you thought they would be as a human being? Todd from Pontiac, Michigan. Well, first of all, Todd, great question. Thank you very much. I lived in Pontiac, Michigan with my Italian Nonna from 1979 to 1984 on and off. I went to Bethune Elementary School, which is no longer there, sadly. I went to Pontiac Central High School, which sadly is no longer there either. My grandmother had the corner house that my grandfather built on his VA from the military, VA loan, in 1953. And he paid $15,000 to have that house built, believe it or not. And sadly, he passed away very, very young in 1981. And my grandmother kept that house until 1987, sold it, and then went to New York. It was at 779 Menominee, Menomine Road. If you live in Pontiac, you're aware of that street because it's right on the corner of where Washington Junior High, another school that is gone. Pontiac has been absolutely decimated. It's sad. I went back there in 2018 after being gone since 1984, and it was just very, very sad to see the shape that Pontiac was in, but my grandparents' house was still standing. So who would the guest be? Well, right off the top of my head, it's my dear friend. We love her to death, Debbie and I, is Grammy Award-winning, Oscar-nominated singer, Melissa Manchester. Dear friend of mine. We spent time with her this past February when Deb and I went to California. Love her to death, an absolute mensch. I interviewed her in September of 2020 during COVID, and I recently had her on, a couple months ago I had her on, and just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful human being. All right, final question. Bad Brad, I saw a picture of you the other day on Twitter wearing a VoteVets shirt standing next to your car. Where can I get one? Lenny, Marine Corps vet, Alexandria, Virginia. What is this? This is everybody in places I used to live? Before I moved to Oklahoma back in the day, I lived in Alexandria from 2012 to 2014 off of King Street. So, Lenny, where you can get the VoteVets shirt that I was wearing the other day, go to VoteVets, I think it's .org or whatever it is, look it up. I think it's .org. Regardless, look it up. Go to their shop page, click on it, and that's where they have all their merch. Okay? All right, folks, that's my first Ask Bad Brad. So if you want to be on the show, Send your questions into askbadbrad@gmail.com. And I'll close out like I always do. Remember, folks, every act of kindness is a little love we leave behind. Bad Brad out.